Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Garcia, I'm hoping we'll have an opportunity to sit down, and please understand that my anger right now is not directed towards you personally. It's directed to the administration that has utterly undermined what I believe is urgencies on the African continent that we are simply not addressing. They've deprioritized the continent, defunded critical bipartisan programs that we in this committee have worked incredibly hard on, and through their remarks and rhetoric have set our relationships with multiple African countries back and sent these African countries into the arms of Russians and the Chinese. Let me start by pointing out the outrage that it was reported that the Bureau of African Affairs senior bureau official, Nick Checker, sent an email to Bureau staff stating, and I'm going to quote here, "To put it bluntly, Africa is peripheral rather than a core theater for U.S. interests." That is utterly outrageous, that a continent that by 2050 will make up 1 out of every 4 human beings on the planet, and because of the aging populations in Asia, America, and Europe, will make up 1 out of every 3 working people, that is not a central strategic interest of the United States of America.
What started as a routine Senate hearing quickly turned into one of the most emotional moments of the day. A senator delivered an impassioned criticism of the administration's approach toward Africa, arguing that years of diplomatic neglect, humanitarian aid reductions, and vacant ambassador positions are damaging America's influence across the continent. The speech became even more dramatic when the committee chairman interrupted, pointing out that the senator had exceeded his allotted speaking time. Stay until the end as we break down every major moment from this explosive exchange.
This is something that should alarm everybody on this committee. It is outrageous. In December 2025, President Trump recalled 13 ambassadors from African countries. The U.S. maintains embassies across 46 African countries, yet 35 of those posts do not have confirmed ambassadors. 36 if you can count the ambassador to the Africa Union. That is a deep insult to these countries that we have not prioritized our relationships, and that diplomatic vacuum is being filled by the Chinese. This chronic understaffing of these embassies and the bureau you're about to lead undercuts those embassies' operations, undercuts key strategic interests, undercuts our national security. The Trump administration undermines U.S. diplomatic influence and terminates key foreign assistance programs, again, that were bipartisan approved, is giving strategic competitors like China and Russia the ability to massively expand their political, military, economic, humanitarian, and development engagement across the continent. And I want to bring your attention to what has been said already is the world's greatest humanitarian crisis. What is happening in Sudan is the shame of humanity. I visited the Chad-Sudan border. I saw the malnourished children. We are seeing literally tens of thousands of deaths happening. And what does the United States, what does the Trump administration do? It cuts our resources. The Trump administration has terminated food, nutrition, emergency health responses, and our own State Department people have said thousands more are dying there as a result. The State Department has determined that the RSF is committing genocide and that the SAF is committing crimes against humanity in Sudan. And what is our response? It's been complicity in allowing these horrors to go on and not stepping up to do something about it. The Trump administration eliminated offices and experts focused on conflict and atrocity prevention there, canceled most, if not all, of the conflict and atrocity prevention programs in the Sudan. And the president has also not nominated another special envoy for Sudan, despite the legal requirement to do so. This is a horror. This is a shame. Last week, the administration lifted Russia-related sanctions on 3 top Malian military officials, despite reports that they continue to funnel money to Moscow in exchange for security support. It is a lie that they're concerned about security issues. in the way that they're cooperating. And this is, to me, violates what is just common sense. If we want to strengthen commercial, long-term relationships with Africa, the State Department needs to use more tools than just lobbing bombs in and doing nothing about what's happening on the ground. Take Somalia. 6.5 Somalis are currently facing high levels of hunger, with more than 1.8 million children facing acute malnutrition. Despite this crisis, the U.S. government has deprioritized humanitarian assistance for Somalia. Since President Trump has taken office, he's ordered 168 strikes against armed groups in Somalia. But yet he's cut aid to help with the crisis that's there. So I say to you, sir, I am livid with this administration's policy. Thousands of people are dying. We're losing our strategic advantage on the continent. Critical minerals are being trafficked by our enemies out of that country to the detriment of this nation. Our adversaries in Russia and China are making a mockery of the vacuum we're creating there. And on top of it all, the greatest humanitarian crises, which we used to define ourselves by leading against humanitarian crises, the greatest one on the earth, we are allowing more children die because of our retreat. And indulging the kindness of the chair, Mr. Edgar, your period at DHS.
Sarah, just would remind you, you used up to 7 minutes of your 5 minutes without asking a question yet.
I appreciate that, sir, but I watch other people go more than 4 minutes over.
Not today.
Mr. Chairman, I've got a tight schedule here.
And Mr. Chairman, I will say that Mr. Coons went 4 minutes over. I will say that colleagues of mine did, and we've just wasted 30 seconds talking about that. I have one comment to finish, if I may.
Okay, please finish.
I appreciate that. What's happening at the Department of Homeland Security is a mockery, and it happened on your watch. When even their own Inspector General has talked about the systematic obstructing of any kind of oversight. There's so much horrors going on when people simply turn the other way and don't stare it in the eye. For you to say that there's no humanitarian violations going on in El Salvador, I think disqualifies you to be there when our country sent human beings to a torture center that's well documented and you said nothing.
Please hit the subscribers button for more political and controversial showdowns.